It's hearing some of this.
Alright, so it's recording.
Need your passwords, wrong password.
Capital G. Where's the iPad? There it is. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Woke Wednesdays. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, I'm trying to. What's up, y'all? Welcome. We better start momentarily.
Yeah, I could probably say it's about like.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up too. Shit.
So what?
Yeah, I said I'm gonna pull it up right now just so I can like.
Follow.
I'm not trying to squint and be like, oh, what they saying.
I'm trying to move the comments from the screen. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna put the volume down.
Yeah,
What's up, y'all? What's up? Welcome to Woke Wednesdays. Yeah, that's weird.
Connect.
Yeah. Maybe one of y'all password works. Oh no, that's why. I'm trying to. I need to get into this one.
Got the key. Got the answers.
What's up, y'all? I'm trying to get these comments.
No, I'm trying to find what it's not popping up on you, man.
Nah, you don't?
You guys are like the ultimate band right now. Y'all are funny.
Boy band.
Y'all are funny.
The woke boys.
Not the woke boys. That's hilarious. Well, I don't know what to do.
Fuck. That's
New.
okay. There we go.
Alright, well, let's get started. Alright, we'll figure it out. Alright, y'all, welcome to Woke Wednesdays. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Can we see ourselves? We can see ourselves?
Yeah, I see me.
Alright, cool.
I'm still trying to pop it up right here so I can see.
So we do this every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so thank you so much for tuning in. Last week's conversation, well, if you don't know, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. So we get a whole 30 days to talk about ourselves from September 15th to October 15th. So, last Wednesday we discussed what does it even mean to be a Latina woman. And we had 4 amazing young women on the show, and they talked about their experiences and what that means to them. So, tonight, we have what does it mean to be a Latino man. And as you can see, we have 3 very handsome young men on the show. Not all of them are single. So Hector is... Sure, say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. So let's introduce ourselves. You want to go first?
Sorry.
You can start off?
My name is Rodrigo. I am 24 years old, born and raised in Miami. 2 Cuban parents. They were born in Cuba. I was born here. Graduated from FIU with a degree in communications. And I work in politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a political guy.
Okay.
I'm Hector Quinones. I'm 28, about to be 29. Watch out for my birthday. Scorpio gang.
You're a student here, right?
Yeah, I'm a senior here. IT major. Brother of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Lord.
Yeah.
You ain't have to say all that, man. You ain't have to say all that, man.
But I'm Puerto Rican. I'm first generation over here. My older sister and my parents were both born in Puerto Rico. I was born over here. I'm from Pennsylvania, so it's a lot different than it is here in Miami.
We're about to get all that. We're about to get to that. We're about to get to that. Yeah.
So that's whatever you got questions, you just ask. That's me.
Who are you?
I was gonna go at the end, man. You know, it's the host thing. You know how it goes. You're a host too. You know how it goes.
Okay. My name is Nelson Fritz, aka Negro Fino. Background: I have 15 years in banking. Right now, I'm currently a realtor and a sales agent for life insurance. I like to call myself a hybrid. I'm Haitian, Dominican, French, and Guadeloupe. And I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I represent Brooklyn. That's how I feel. And what else? Oh, and I'm also a Latin promoter for Latin nightclubs, ballrooms, and concerts. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Negro Fino. It's a little cartoon face with my sunglasses, and you'll find me physically each and every single Thursday at Baritono Cafe at 9 p.m. Free salsa class, ladies free before 10:15. So stay in the know with Negro Fino. I gotta put in my plug.
There you go. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't see the comments.
And then I'm Hurston. We do this every Wednesday, like I said. I'm a second-year PhD student here at FIU. And yeah, so tonight let's get into it. For some reason, I'm having issues like trying to keep this Instagram thing up on the iPad. I don't know why. It keeps on kicking me out. Are y'all having the same issue?
Yeah, I can't see the
No?
comments. No.
You mind if I use your phone to read the comments?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So y'all can barely hear us. Heck, I think they're talking about you, man. You kind of.
All right.
Latino
you
in Saudi, bro.
All right, so they kind of mentioned it already, but we wanna actually we get intimate now. Okay. So yeah, please feel free to ask questions at any point throughout the show. Make your comments, whatever you want to say, whatever you're thinking. Ask us. These guys are here to answer your questions. So ethnically, how are y'all? How do you identify? So whoever wants to go first can start.
I guess I'll go first since I'm at the end of the line of people. I define myself as Latino, Hispanic, either or, both.
And then a country?
American. I'm Cuban American.
So you say Cuban American?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I would say I'm same Hispanic, Latino, and I guess technically I would say American.
American? So you want to say Puerto Rican?
I'm Boricua. That's what I would say. Well,
Okay.
I was born here. I'm American.
Okay. What about you?
Me, when I fill out the box, I consider myself a Hispanic, Black, Latino, and that's it.
So racially, you would identify as black?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So ethnically, it's a little bit. You would check more boxes, but racially, you would put black.
Yeah, racially I would put Black.
Okay.
Although my family is different boxes, but myself, I put Black.
Okay. I guess I should say too, right? 'Cause I guess I am Latino. Nicaragua. That's where my family's from. So Nicaraguan American. If I had to choose a box for race, I would probably say mixed, just because our cultures are very racially mixed. So a lot of indigenous blood. Because of colonialism, there's also European blood. And I recently found out my great-great-grandmother was a black woman, so also African blood. So,
Your stock went up.
there you go, right? It just went up.
Party foul as fuck.
Wow, this show just started and you spilling wine. Look at you.
Yeah,
We're trying to be classy tonight. All right, what about you, Hector? Racially.
Racially, like I said, we were talking about it before the show. I used to always hate going to the doctor's office, and I gotta fill out, the boxes. Obviously, I put, are you a Hispanic or a Latino? Well, yeah, obviously, I put yeah. But then they ask me if I'm black, if I'm white, if I'm Pacific Islander, and it's like, well, obviously, I'm not Pacific Islander. Nowhere near from there. Can't really call myself white because I got too much melanin. Like, I'm a little brown skin. So, do I mark black or does it fit? No, not listed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like I got family members on my dad's side. I'm literally the lightest. I'm the lightest person on my dad's side. And I'm the darkest person on my mom's side. Excluding my grandfather, who's also dark skinned. And I don't know. It just feels weird because there's a lot of people, especially in our community, that are anti-black and that are like pro-black. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a black man, and it's like, well, are you? Or you know what I'm saying?
If they're black.
Yeah, because there's all right. Well, when it comes to like black people in general, be like, oh, nah, you're not black though. I mean, we look at you like that, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, if you look at my grandparents, my great grandparents, they're dark skinned, so.
So you're identifying as racially black. If you had to.
If you put the gun in my head, like, hey, which one? Obviously, I can't really put white. There's not a lot of white people in my family, so I would put that. But it's a question that brings it up. Like, who dictates that? You know what I'm saying? Like, like who's who's the one that says, oh, you're just black, or you're a black Puerto Rican, or you're a black Dominican, but
So
you're not Haitian.
This is interesting, and I'd love to get y'all's feedback on this because I had to do a police report a couple years ago because I lost my phone, and they asked me what's your race, and I'm like Latino. No, what's your race? Latino. I didn't know what to say. They're like white or black. You have to pick one, and I was like, oh, it's like I put black. But it was interesting how you're kind of talking about races and how we're forced into thinking something. But who is forced? Like you don't have that option of putting something else or of thinking of something else when it comes to race, right? On a box. Cause you can't. Would you put white? I mean, maybe you could put white.
No.
What do you think about that?
No, I don't have that option, because, like I said, I'm a hybrid, and when people look at me, they automatically default I'm black, okay? But then when they interact with me, they're like, "What are you?" And I said, "I'm a human, And they're like, "No, seriously, what are you?" And I'm like, "What are you asking me? What's my background? What's my nationality? Where do I live?" Like, you need to be more specific, because what are you? I'm answering your question. I'm human. You understand what I'm saying? So, and there's times too, man, I get a lot of ignorant statements. I deal with it every day because that's what comes with my pigment, my melanin. That no, you're not black. You're white. Or you're Oreo, or you're this, you're educated, or you that, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, there's no uneducated, ignorant rednecks. There's no uneducated, dumb white people.
Yeah.
There's no uneducated Asian people, because not all Asians are smart. You understand what I'm saying? But these are stereotypes that we deal with. That's programmed on TV, that shows on commercials, radios, even in a household, and it's sad, but it's something that, we all got to deal with, because later on, I'm gonna tell you how different Americans feel about Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? Because we caught up in a bubble right here in Miami. You understand what I'm saying?
So let me ask, Rodrigo was saying something really interesting before the show started, right? When it came to how you identify racially.
Yeah.
So if you could please just kind of.
So and it kind of happened to me the other day. I was at a a doctor's appointment, and I was filling out filling out everything with my name, and then I got to the race and ethnicity question. And for ethnicity, I put Latino Hispanic, and it's usually cut in half. And for race, because it's never mind. We could talk for days about why that's problematic.
Yeah.
But and then for race, it gave me the option not to specify, and I put that one because one, I feel like Latino, I guess for me, is my race. I don't consider myself white. I don't feel white. I don't to me, and also it goes to the point. Well, one, I don't identify as that, but two, I also kind of feel like I'm uncomfortable by labeling myself white. I think wanting to label myself white is like adding fuel to a problematic fire, And I was telling earlier, I was watching the Ta-Nehisi Coates interview with Stephen Colbert, and he sort of explains.
Ta-Nehisi Coates, real quick, is an author,
yes.
a writer. If you haven't checked out his book, Between the World and Me, a great book.
He just released a new one for about the Obama years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. So good book to check out.
Yeah, and he explained that whiteness is something that has evolved over time. It's a definition that gets adjusted to feel
just like blackness.
Just like blackness, it's again, these are social constructs. These are things that we just came up one day for negative purposes, but the things that humans came up with.
Yeah.
And
which humans though?
White people.
Europeans.
Yeah. Europeans made they created this concept of being white to make themselves better than others. It's a way of differentiating good versus bad, better versus worse. It's literally the dumbest thing because it doesn't really. And in the beginning of this country, there was Irish people, Italians. They weren't considered white. Now they are. Now they are part of white. Jewish people. Jewish people were once not considered white in this country. Now they're part of the white population. and I guess it comes with like my personal experience with whiteness. My mom is Cuban, born in Cuba, came here in the 70s, post Bay of Pigs, and a lot of the times when I talk to her about race, she has a lot of white supremacy in the way she views race and culture, because she wants to call herself white. She's like, my skin isn't dark. What color is my skin? What color are you?
What color is your skin?
Or she's a very fair-skinned woman. Like, she's not dark by any means. My grandmother, her mom, was a redhead.
So this is interesting, real quick, and I want to make a quick point about this though. The idea of race was created like in the 15th century, right? Europeans arrived here and they mass genocide on Native Americans, right? And the way they had to legitimize this killing of beings to the Catholic Church back in Europe was by saying these people are not human; they're subhuman.
They're barbarians,
right? They're savages, right? And a whole bunch of other epithets and pejoratives. But the point is, that's how race started, right? You have to legitimize your killing, so now we're going to create a race of people, right? And it's, like you said, it's not static. This stuff is, at one point, the United States had a law called the one-drop rule. So if you had one drop of black in you, right, you could be 136 black.
Yeah.
There have been multiple cases, court cases, lawsuits, because interracial marriages were not allowed, especially in the South. Right, where someone was like 136 black married to a white woman, that was an interracial marriage, right? So race, like you're saying, is very much created by human beings, and it's constantly changing.
And you can even say with the one drop policy, there are characteristics that belong to a particular race, and in someone that is like 113, like say like generations down the line, they might have more of those characteristics than.
What do you mean by characteristics?
Like
coarse
skin
hair.
color,
It's
hair,
not about
skin
phenotypes,
color.
so like physical
characteristics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, appearances like that you will
I'm with you.
see. Like it could pop out of nowhere. Like there are some people. I have friends that I went to high school with that, racially speaking, they're much darker than their parents. Almost like, and it's that same joke that everyone always makes that's stupid as hell. That is like,
man.
oh yeah. Oh, was your dad worried? Which is the stupidest thing in the world, and everyone
So
laughs.
can y'all explain the joke real quick to the audience members? I don't know if everybody.
It's like the joke whenever like a fair skinned person.
And then, real quick, isn't that interesting, the terminology that's used? A fair skin. That skin is fair. So if there's a fair, that means there's an unfair.
Right.
Right? So the other skin is unfair skin.
Yeah.
So that's just interesting.
I'm gonna try to change. Now I want to change my words
Right.
to something like.
But the point is,
skin.
but the point is that there's power in words, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And words have a history and the way they've been utilized throughout time.
Just
Specifically when it comes to race, gender, class, all that stuff.
Just like when you're a kid, you're scared of the dark. You don't be,
The
scared
black-
of the dark, the black.
the
You
black
don't
ice
you don't
thing.
know what's there. No, all right. I don't know. Have you ever been to the north? Like up north?
No.
Black ice?
Well, like
Because,
vacations. here
okay,
and
well,
there.
I'm tell you right now, black ice is real. I know this is off subject.
Oh,
but
black
I met
ice?
somebody before that's like,
Oh yeah.
nah, black ice. That's what my parents told me about that. So I be careful. No, black ice is real. Like
It's real.
if you don't drive carefully, I know we're getting off topic.
So-
You will slip on some ice that you don't see. And
I'm
obviously
from North
concrete
Carolina.
is-
Black ice.
right.
So black ice, all it is transparent ice that you can't see.
Can't see. You drive on it.
Y'all call that black ice in Brooklyn?
Yeah, we call
Yeah,
it black
black
ice.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's black ice, which makes sense because the asphalt's black.
Yeah, it's
so
on concrete. You
transparent,
can't
so
see
it's
it.
like you call it
Usually
black
ice has white particles in it.
Yeah.
You could differentiate.
So yeah, if y'all are just tuning in, I see different people are tuning in as well. Please feel free to ask questions, make comments.
I told you I'd do it.
Oh yeah, Hector. Yeah. So yeah,
Too much wine.
feel free to post your comments, post your questions. Ask these guys what you're thinking about. The Latino man. All of us identify as Latino men. Clearly, we're all coming from different places in the United States, different countries, different backgrounds. Interestingly enough, this conversation is in English, even though we're Latino men, right? So that's interesting. So please feel free to ask questions and whatever you want to ask. But yeah, so you said something really interesting. You said that you don't feel comfortable identifying as white.
Yeah.
But in Latin America, we have all types of colors, right? We have white people in Latin America. We have people who are blonde with blue eyes. We have black people. We have brown people. We have people who consider they're Japanese, they're Chinese in different parts of Latin America. So does everyone identify here as a person of color?
I do.
Yeah? Do you? Yeah, like for similar reasons, maybe. Or?
I'll say for me, like, and I think this is something that I think we can attribute to a lot of people in Miami. Like in Miami, you probably would, as a Cuban, like a white passing Cuban person, you can probably get away with believing that you are white. Like Miami is probably the only place, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do, especially on this campus. I'm sure if you guys have ever walked around this campus, you've definitely seen people that probably are Latino, but, and I'm not gonna go off the stereotypes, but let me if you don't mind me finishing this point. But but yeah, once you step out of this little bubble called Miami, I'm treated a little differently. Like it's not like extreme. It's not extreme like it may be for other people, but I definitely noticed a few looks. I'm approached with a different sort of sentiment. It's different. It's just, and it's hard to. And I guess the best explanation for this is like microaggressions, but I don't know. I just noticed that I'm not like a part of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to piggyback off what you're saying because, like I said, I'm from Northeast. Like, we're more
neighbors.
We're more neighbors. Yeah, like he was next to me and was like, "Yo, like what's good, kid? Whatever, this and that." And I wouldn't be looked at. Oh, he's trying to be black. Why he trying to sound like that?
That's interesting.
Why he sound like that? He ain't me. And it's like, yo, honestly, like in my neighborhood, like I don't know if y'all ever watched the show Power, cause I actually had a conversation with somebody out here in Miami, and they thought like if you ever watched the show Power, like Tommy Egan, they thought he was a mythical creature. Like like there's white guys like that. Like I didn't know that. Like no, listen, I had a Tommy that lived 3 streets down from me. His name is Baby J. Everybody was scared of him. But like I said, I don't want to jump off topic when I say that. But when I come down here, like I can say that like coming from here as a stranger, I've seen a lot of people that like I guess I don't want to label it, but call it whitewashed. Like even like we're in the Greek community, right? And we go to FIU. You even see it in our our IFC and our PC. Like honestly, our campus is I don't want to skew the number, but I think it's 86 or 88% Hispanic.
It's above 50% for sure.
It's above 70.
Yeah.
It's above 70. And you'll look our multicultural, like you would think we were like a powerhouse, like everybody. You know what I'm saying? They would be huge, but they're not. They're most of our Hispanic population is in the IFC and the PC council, the fraternities.
Those councils are predominantly white organizations
white.
Throughout the rest of the country.
Yeah. So you would be somebody. Let's say you're in a PC sorority here. You're in one of the white sororities here, and you would feel at home because everybody is also Colombian, Venezuelan, Dominican, Puerto Rican. But if you go to Alabama, you're literally the only one.
Yep.
And it's weird. It's just like South Florida in general is just.
So
weird
let me ask a question.
What fraternity are you in?
I'm gonna make a South Five. I'm in part of the Divine Nine. Which
and what's your fraternity?
Historically
Alpha
black.
Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Just had to make that clear.
I'm a GDI.
Historically black.
Goddamn individual.
Goddamn.
Historically black fraternities, but that's just the whole nother show.
I'm gonna touch that. I'm gonna touch that.
Yeah,
so this is interesting because we're kind of getting at the idea of what does it mean when you think of the Latino man, what comes to mind? Because now we're kind of, and I think part of what we're doing could be a little dangerous in the sense that we're also policing identities, right? So this person is they're supposed, if they're Latino, they're supposed to be these things, right?
I have a nice
right, and I feel like that some of that's like we're saying a little bit of that. If you're a Latino person, you're supposed to be this thing, which can get dangerous because we also do it to black folks. Well, if you're a black person, you're supposed to be these things. You're supposed to talk this way. You're supposed to dress this way. If you're a white person, you're
just why does he talk white?
Policing identities, I think, can be just the same way you can say, oh, well, Nelson's speaking white. We can do the same thing to Latinos. Why? Well, why are they joining this organization? Why are they not doing this instead? So, what do y'all think about that? Because that I hear us doing a little bit of that, of policing identities.
Yeah, because I get that all the time. Like, so you think you black?
But you were doing it too right now, though. You were doing it too right now to Hispanics that join predominantly white organizations.
Exactly, and
so
that's why
we're all guilty of it.
Yeah, no, everybody's guilty of it in some part.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I put that out to put a point because of whitewashing. There's whitewashing, like in our in our culture. There's people Yeah. And,
And
and
Latino
this is,
culture?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And this is something that like I've noticed since I came to Miami. So up north, I really never had to like look at it like this. But when I came down here and I see how segregated it is, and I actually started looking more deeper into it.
Yeah,
And it's weird because like we have people in our community that are like, I guess you could say, whitewashed. Like basically people who accept that they have, you know, African blood in them, and people who will fight it to the death. That, oh, I don't have it. No, I'm this. I'm that.
Can I interject?
Oh, please.
Okay. He's from Philly. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Now, we basically neighbors and we got the same mindset.
Yeah.
My fraternity is Phi Beta Sigma. And it wasn't until when I moved down here that I saw predominantly light-skinned, white-looking, white American-looking Hispanics. Okay, because if you were to go up north, where I was from, in my chapter, everybody was brown or light-skinned or Hispanic-looking, and when I look back, I was like, wait a minute, we were all together, and the people that look black, like my frat brother Ted Lover, he was Panamanian. Carlos was Dominican. Everybody else was Puerto Rican. We even had white Americans join our fraternity, and we didn't discriminate, and we took them in as brothers. Like, we're like, yo, this is what's up, because in our campus we had a very strong history courses, right, where we've learned that the oldest woman was from African descent and was African, and the cradle of civilization was in Ethiopia, and everybody on this planet, their origin is from Africa. Okay, so when I see people that are like from Denmark, Switzerland, all these European countries, and like, oh no, I'm not black, I don't have any black in me, or these white Americans that say they don't have any black in them and whatever. No, you are black, because when you look at it, the people of color, the Asians have dynasties, the Africans have dynasties, okay? The Indians from India, not Native American, not indigenous, the Indians from India have dynasties. When you look at European, they only been on the planet, you know, they striving for like 2,000 years. You know, they don't got no dynasties. You know, that's why they call them Caucasians from the Caucasoid Mountain. You understand what I'm saying? So when I hear ignorance, sometimes it rubs me the wrong way, but it's something that I have to accept because of the whitewash, the white supremacy, the KKK, the systemic racism, and all of this crap. And everybody has to be woke, okay, and be aware that the divide and conquer is a very, very old tactic that is still alive, okay? If I segregate myself from my Hispanic brothers and sisters, if I separate myself from my Asian brothers and sisters, I separate myself from my Indian brothers and sisters, you understand what I'm saying? That's a divide and conquer. Because if you realize, we are considered minorities in the US of A. But globally, white America is the minority.
That's a good point.
Okay? They are the minority. But we are trained in America that we're the minority. We're the smaller group.
Watch out.
But we're not.
Watch out. You might be scaring some white folks.
I know. I'm going to be scaring them, bro.
You know
I might get assassinated, but yo,
Watch
don't hold me back. Don't hold me back.
Watch out. You know when black
The wine, man. The wine. It's a truth serum.
A black person being loud, you know that's dangerous. Watch
I'm
out.
telling you, bro.
Watch out. You might.
And I'm not a militant. I'm not a member of Black Lives Matter. You understand? But I do respect their objective, their agenda. You understand? But Hispanics, you know, in general, has to understand that. For example, Cuban. For example, you're from Cuba, right?
Well, I was born here.
But you're Cuban descendant, right? This is the thing that makes me laugh because I moved down here in 1997. And I would meet an older Cuban person, and they say, "Oh, you know, there's no black people in Cuba."
That's stupid.
My babysitter was a light-skinned Haitian woman married to a black Cuban. She taught her. He moved to Haiti. She taught him Creole, and he's a black Cuban.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought Cubans were black up north,
Yeah.
but when I moved down here and I'm seeing blonde hair, blue eyed Cubans, I'm like, what the?
A lot of Cubans, especially the white ones, they love the idea of like not seeing color, right? Of like there is no black Cuban, there is no white Cuban. We're all Cubans, right?
Yep.
But that's bullshit. That's a bunch of
It's
bullshit.
BS.
Yeah.
So when this old lady told me there was no such thing as blacks, and then she was like, my family is from Spain.
Yeah.
But listen, in Europe, they don't consider Spaniards as white.
Yep.
All right, so here's a question, and I want to get to this question that Ani X. She's actually a Delta. Shout out to Delta Sigma Beta.
What's up, Delta?
That's
Yeah.
I watch Kanye videos, you know.
We have a question, and I think it's a very interesting question. So you said he asked you you're Cuban,
Yeah.
and you said, "Well, I was born here.
Yeah.
My parents are Cuban. Were born in Cuba." Ani's asking, why make the distinction that you were born here? And anyone. First can we start with him because and then everybody get out.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And I feel if I were to call myself just like puro Cuban, I feel like that's that's disrespectful in my opinion to like my mom and my dad and my grandmother and my grandfather because I think with being a Cuban in America, like there was a Cuban diaspora, there was a Cuban like exodus of people that left their homeland, political refugees, and that experience in itself, I've never experienced that, and I feel like I've been given, I feel like just as much as being Cuban American, as it is like a privilege, I think it's also a responsibility. Like it's something that as the child of an immigrant, I bear the responsibility of making sure that their sacrifices and the sacrifices of their parents and for example my mom's uncle, my mom's uncle was in the Bay of Pigs, and he got captured, and there was like apparently there was an exchange of goods and medicine and things like that for the captured people from the Bay of Pigs and their families, and that's how my mom came. And that experience in itself, my mom tells me all the time of like the experience my grandmother had coming to this country, of sewing zippers onto like clothing for like the whole 12 hours at a time, getting paid a cent for every zipper she did. And you can only imagine how much she did that. And I don't know, I feel like it's a level of respect to not necessarily identify as fully Cuban. Because if I just identified as fully Cuban, I'm sort of disregarding
and also sacrifice. To your point, if you were to go back to Cuba, you wouldn't be considered maybe a full Cuban.
Yeah. And that's
go ahead.
That's what I want to touch on. All right, because like my certain situation, like I said, I'm born in the Northeast. Like I'm Puerto Rican. Obviously, I was born here. My parents are there. My Spanish is not great.
It's not
obviously it's bad. Like the only Spanish I really know, I was like our slang, and plus like I hate like Puerto Ricans, we don't roll our R's. So when I say shit, I was like,
por favor.
You're like, like you know what I'm saying. So when it comes to that, you know, there's also that, but there's also like when I was in school, like I mentioned it, you know how we mentioned like it's real, like it's not segregated, like everybody. When I went to school, you're like, it's when my parents like, hey man, you gotta teach them either English or Spanish. We can't have them in here because I'm over here reading books, and I was so happy to go. You know, if I don't know how it is down here, but I know in PA, back in my day, like mid '90s, when you go to like kindergarten, you have like an interview. So I'll go in there and I'm so happy to read
kindergarten.
Yeah, we got it.
Damn.
I'm sorry, that's why we a little smarter.
I couldn't speak English. This is straight to Esau. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? I went over there and they're like, read your favorite book. And I had a Ninja Turtles book. And I'm reading the Ninja Turtles book, and they was like, oh, that's nice, read this book. So I'm reading it, and it's like American history. So I'm over there sitting there like, okay, and the Indios and the Buffaloes, and they're like, all right. And then they tell my parents, like, you gotta teach me the English, the Spanish, we can't understand that shit. So obviously I speak English now, and like I could read Spanish. I just sound like a robot, because I could pronunciate everything, because I remember from my youth, but I just don't know it. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to that, like when it comes to not identifying as like, you're not like true Boricua because you're not from Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel mixed about it because I got cousins that like literally from the middle of the island, like literally where it's like, cause and like
And see, with you, I would call a hybrid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're in hybrid because you got one foot on each
Exactly.
territory. But to add on to what you said with the Cuban American, you it's not only the respect, the piggyback on that is that when you say you're Cuban American, you're explaining to the public that Cuban American means that I was born, raised here, my mindset is American, but I'm from Cuban descent.
Yeah.
And I'm holding on to that culture as well. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you say, yo, I'm Cuban, you ever been to Cuba? No. Were you born in Cuba? No. Then how the hell you Cuban?
Yeah, like I had a
drink cortaditos every day.
Yo, yeah, like
but there's gringos that drink cortadito as well. Are they Cuban?
I lived
you
in
know?
Cuban. I lived a Cuban American experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I lived in
And
Miami.
that's why you say Cuban American.
I lived in Miami for 24 years of my life.
But that's normal. That's in every culture.
Yeah.
Because the Italians, when they came in, they weren't white.
They're Italian American.
Then they became Italian American, and then they became American.
Yeah.
The Irish, they weren't white. They were called the Black Irish.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they became Irish Americans because they went to the bottom. They were cops. You know, they were bottom feeders, and then they went up the social ladder, and they became white.
Yeah.
Okay. They became white Americans.
So
now, African Americans will never become white.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if they got, like, look at Obama, the highest education. Even if they whatever, the skin they can't integrate.
And what's funny is I think for example, like I don't really try to change the minds of a lot of people because I think that's one of those. It's a very taxing effort. But one of the people
and
that
fruitless.
and one of the people that I do actually try to like talk to. One of the few people that I actually do try to talk to is my mom. And I think my mom is one of the few people. Please.
Don't let him pour, because you know he spills.
I'm gonna spill it.
I got you.
My mom is one of the few people that I actually want her to, I guess, see the world the way I see it. And one of the things that, like, for her is, I'm sorry, I got lost track.
You're good. But real quick, I want to make a quick point. We're talking about ethnicities and how we identify. So I'm from North Carolina, right? So we got Florida, South Florida. Yeah, I was raised in.
I want to hear about this.
In the middle of 6th grade, we moved from DC, outside DC, to North Carolina. So I consider myself very southern, very, very southern. So we got Northeast, the South, and then the South.
I don't even
not the South.
Miami
is not the South. Geographically South, but not culturally South.
I always say I have
South Florida's Caribbean.
When I always tell people, Miami is the only place where you have to go north to go south.
Yeah.
Only place.
Yeah. So to me, I grew up just in North Carolina, a place where you heard every joke. Oh, I need some mowing. My lawn needs to get mowed.
Leaf blower.
We need some roofing done. Is your back wet? Because you're a wet bag.
Leaf blower.
You hear the leaf blower, the spics. You hear all this shit, right?
Yeah.
So to me, when they would ask me, "What are you?" and the people I'm hearing this from is white people, I didn't want to claim any type of American. So I would just say, I'm Nica, like Nicaragua. And they're like, oh, what part of Mexico is that in?
Exactly.
Oh, well, it's not in Mexico.
Oh, it's close there.
Right? I gotta break it down for them, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that I didn't want to claim any type of Americanness. I didn't want to, even though I am. You want to talk about Boyz II Men, you want to talk about John Mayer, we can talk about that. But the whiteness didn't accept me.
Yeah.
So I had to identify with the brownness, right? Because that's where I was accepted. And people that were brown, who weren't necessarily from Nicaragua, who also lived in the area, accepted me very much. My black friends that was down with me. So it was this tight bond between black and brown, at least where I grew up. And then I come to a place like Miami, where I'm seeing that it's so segregated.
Yep. It's not like that.
Right? It's just a different world. Different world. Go ahead.
No, because to piggyback off what we're talking about, like you don't identify as like American, this and that. Like when I'll tell you about like my humanitarian trip when I went to Haiti over the summer, and like I'm not Haitian, so obviously I'm a super outsider. Not just being an outsider in Miami, but I'm outsider in a whole other country. Like I'm over here reading newspapers in Creole trying to learn it, and they're like, oh. They're like, my friend, you speak okay, you speak alright, and I'm like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm trying to get assimilated. Like I want to. If I go to another country, I want to learn your language. I want to learn your history. So I went and Port-au-Prince. I'm over there in the National History Museum looking at all that stuff. 1804, like all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So my homeboy, like don't get me wrong, he Haitian. Okay, you can't tell him he's not Haitian. He Haitian flag. He got 5 of them on. Okay. And you know he the bruh, so like he's real like aggressive, like you know he has that, you know what I'm saying. So besides the point, we're in we had a humanitarian trip where we went to like a village and we put out excess supplies because we had it for a orphanage, and all the kids had it from an orphanage. We still had a big pile, so we're like, you know what, we're gonna take this to the village and hand out the village. So we go out there, we meet a kid, Gene. The kid name, his name is Gene, and he said he knew a little bit of English. But he would speak to me in a little bit of English, but obviously to my homeboy, some lad, he was speaking in Creole because he knew Creole. He wanted to like be like, oh, I know Creole, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he would talk to him like, hey man, you know, you want to be an engineer? That's great. You know, you want to lift up for your people. And like I could talk about my Haiti trip the rest of this, but I'm not gonna. That's not what this is about.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not what this is about. But to go back, what we were talking about.
Yeah.
He was telling him, he's like, oh no, you're not Haitian.
And he told me he's also dark, right? He told me he's dark.
No, he's dark. They look. No,
Yeah.
he wasn't my line brother. But
Your
he's
frat
a
brother.
brother. But they literally look the same. He's just bald.
Yeah.
Like they're both dark skinned. They both speak Creole. They both have Haitian parents from Haiti.
Yeah, yeah.
And even in the same area, cause they were from like northern Haiti, like where the Citadel, like around that area. So they're like, oh, I can tell you from the north, cause you know you speak with that accent. And obviously I'm an outsider, I can't tell any of this. I'm just listening, and you know, trying to pick up a little bit of words of Creole I know. And he's like, yeah, but you're not really Haitian. You're American. And he's like, what? Like, what? He's like, no, man, I'm Haitian.
To be exactly white, right?
Mm-hmm.
To piggyback on what he's saying, like you guys are probably wondering, like, okay, why he's bringing up Haiti and whatever. The forum is, how do you feel as Latinos? You know, how do you consider yourself as Latinos? A lot of people do not realize that Latinos also consider, you know, are Brazilians and also Haitian. Okay, Haitians are considered Latinos. Some Haitians don't even know that they are Latinos. Okay, that they are considered.
It's the same island as DR, yeah.
It's not only the island; it's the food, the culture, the ethnicity, the different races.
Exactly, I get that all the time.
Okay, so
Ariel,
for me, for example,
Ani,
okay, if I was to go to Haiti, the Haitians over there will call me white. Now, here in Miami and in the 50 states of America, you look at me, the first thing you think is black, okay, or African American, okay? But in my own island, if I go to Haiti, I'm considered white. If I go to DR, I'm considered Dominican. And I
was considered black in the DR.
In the DR, I'm not considered.
But you're considered Haitian in the DR.
I'm not even considered Haitians in the DR.
Interesting.
I go to. My mom took us, the family, my sister and I.
You're half, just for the people. You're half DR.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm half Haitian, Dominican, Guadeloupe, and French. White Frenchman. Okay.
No.
My mom took me to Higüey, where La Basilica is at, as a pilgrimage, because she made a promise if she goes to the States, she would bring her kids, and she was successful and everything. She would come and bring her kids back so that we know our roots. So it felt like roots in Kunta Kinte going back to DR, okay? So when we went there, and I would go and people would ask me, so what are you? And I'm like, I'm Haitian and Dominican. Oh, so you're Dominican? I'm Haitian and Dominican. Oh, you're Dominican? I'm like, why are you not repeating Haitian? They're like, you can't be Haitian. I'm like, why can't I be Haitian? Because you're clean, you know how to speak, you're this and that, you got expensive clothes, you can't be Haitian. And this is the mindset that some Dominicans, not all,
but it's like that though.
some Dominicans have about Haitian people, okay? So Haitians are Latinos, and I'm piggybacking on what he was saying, you know, why they bring it up. And then when you go to Haiti, even our own Haitian people consider American Haitians or Haitians in abroad, diaspora, okay, but you said it with a different accent, are white.
Diaspora, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to go to Nicaragua, right? And when I got there, me decían el gringo negro. They would call me gringo negro. Gringo meaning white, negro meaning black.
Exactly.
So they would call me gringo because I was coming from the United States, but they would call me black because I wasn't a white person.
Mm-hmm.
But this is interesting though. It gets at something. Gringo implied American,
Yeah.
right? When white people ask us, American white people ask us, what are you? But what are you? What are you? That's implying that you're not an American.
Yeah.
Because American is associated with whiteness. All you are is a hyphen. You are not the American. All you are is the hyphen. So the African hyphen American, right?
Yeah.
The Cuban hyphen American.
You think
right? Puerto Ricans, we don't even know what they are. We don't care about them. That's why we don't send ships to help them.
You think
When a hurricane hits them,
Exactly.
right?
We throw toiletries.
We throw
towels.
paper towels at them, right?
Because I still got family over there right now. I don't really want to touch that subject.
But to add on what you said with the hyphen, okay?
Yeah. All we are is a hyphen.
See, what people don't understand is that when you say African American, that's African hyphen American. The African Americans, there's some that feel that they are African Americans, and there's some that feel they're just black without the hyphen. Okay? So up north, when I will go to an American and a black American and be like, so what, are you Caribbean? Are you African? Are you French? Or, like, what are you? Now, I'm just black.
Yeah.
What do you mean you just black?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you black. But you're black and what? What's your background? I'm just black. Which means that if you're African American, you're just black. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have any connections with Caribbean, Hispanic, Asian, European, French, African. You just consider yourself black. Yeah. That's it.
But,
so that's why when you got Hispanics, you got Haitians, you got Jamaicans, you got Trinidadians, Guyanese, that when you say you're just black. No, I'm not just black. I'm Trini. I'm not just black. I'm Jamaican. I'm not just black. I'm Haitian. I'm just not, because you got to understand the Hispanics and whites do not understand there are different types of black people. Okay?
And there are different types of Hispanics too.
Exactly. Yeah. And white people. See, blacks can tell the difference between an Australian white, a European white, a South African white, a Caribbean white, a Hispanic white, but the non-whites, the people that are white, cannot fathom that there's different types of blacks.
That's an interesting
They think all blacks think the same, act the same, eat the same, sing the same, and it's not true. There's different types of blacks. Like for me, for example, I was working with a bigot Jew guy, right, in the bank. I've been in the banking industry for 15 years, and yes, I'm gonna call him a bigot. Okay, he goes, oh, you know what? My nanny, I have such a great black nanny. She would cook chitlins and collard greens, and I said, what's chitlins and collard greens? Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to our viewers out there.
American thing, yeah.
You're from North Carolina.
Yeah,
you know chitlins and collard.
I know exactly what that is.
My black ass don't know till this day what does a chitlin and a collard green is. I don't know if it's an animal. Does it on fours? Is it leaf? I don't know what it is. So when I told him, what is that? He says, what do you mean you don't know? You're black. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what that is. I'm Caribbean, and he's like, oh.
And you're from the north too.
And I'm from Brooklyn.
Northeast, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know no southern fried cooking,
Yeah.
So he goes, you know what he said to me? The bigot? He goes, oh, you're Caribbean black. You guys think you're white.
What?
Yo, we do play tennis. We play soccer.
Cricket.
We play cricket. We horseback ride. So
That
I can
obviously
see
makes you
his
white, right?
ignorance, exactly, that black people can't play those sports.
Yeah, and I hate when they be like, because I meant, like, growing up, all the time I heard this shit. Damn, man, you fuck with Trevor? I don't know, man. Homeboy weird. He be speaking white and shit. What is speaking white? If you speak with intelligence,
Proper?
If you speak proper, if you
What is
pronunciate,
So,
like, why? How is that speaking white? But if you speak black, it's like, yeah, yo, son, word up, what's good?
What's up, dog?
What's good with you, kid?
Yo, what's
Feel
up,
me?
son?
I'm out here. You know what I'm saying?
So real
holla
quick,
at
I'm in
me.
the grind.
Like,
So the
why color?
part of me also wants to say, and I think Rodrigo was kind of making this point. There is no such thing as speaking proper.
Yeah.
This idea is very socially constructed, right? It's a political thing, right? Speaking proper, using certain words. Words are used also to differentiate yourself between other people and social classes. So when you start utilizing certain types of words, let's say I juxtapose, right, or I use a different type of vernacular, these types of words, this is a social class thing. They're used to differentiate yourself from the other, right? Now, who created this? We call this language supremacy. Mm-hmm. So that means that if you don't speak a certain type of way, you're less intelligent. Absolutely not. Because what makes intelligence is not the words.
Nope.
It's the thoughts behind them. Yep. That's why you can have a person as a president of the United States who can speak clearly and is clearly a dumb ass, right? So that's the way that works. So I just kind of wanted to make that point real quick.
Keep talking about Trump. It's killing me.
So that I think is important to address. This how so many things are constructed and how people deem whiteness. And real quick, black in the United States, I think you're getting at this point that black can be an ethnicity and it can also be a race.
Yeah.
Right? When people say they are black, if they're just saying they're just black, that because I'm from North Carolina, it's either white, black, Mexican, because all Latinos are clearly Mexican. If they met
Puerto
you,
Rican, or Puerto Rican.
or Puerto Rican, if they met you, they'd be confused as fuck. If they met you, they'd be really confused. If they think we're cousins.
Deer in front of headlights.
Yeah,
I get that all the time. Like I get profiles be like, you gonna meet with your cousin Gerson?
Oh yeah, I get that shit too. Yeah,
you got that too.
I got that too.
My profile like, your cousin Gerson over there.
Yeah,
the alpha.
Yo, to be honest, well, every Latino's a primo with each other, you know.
Yeah.
Let me share this with you, okay? In my banking years, there was this blonde hair, this beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes client I had. I mean, this is when I was back in. Can they hear us?
Yeah.
They hear you clearly.
Oh yeah, you clear.
Oh,
you clear.
Because I'm making sure.
Oh, and real quick to your point.
For
some reason, when
I love it.
people think when Latinos are loud, is that they're angry. Like we're not angry.
No, we're not angry.
We just talking.
It's passionate, okay? Let me do this. So I was interviewing this lady for as a mortgage banker, and I asked her what is her ethnicity, okay? And she goes, "I'm black."
Mm.
I dropped my pen, and I said, "Excuse me, do you mind if I ask you why are you saying that you consider yourself black?" She goes, "Well, I'm from Louisiana, and where we come from, if you have 1/8 black blood, and this may not be a Louisiana accent."
Was she a white lady?
She was blonde hair, blue eyes.
Oh wow.
5'8" woman, American looking woman, like gringa.
See, even you said American looking woman.
Yeah,
even you said
American looking woman,
right.
A white American looking woman. Okay. And she said, when you have 1/8 blood of black, you are considered black in Louisiana. So I was like, oh yes, I know Louisiana's laws and everything like that. Yes, okay, yes, therefore you're black. Boom. And automatically, I catered to her culture for that state in Miami, that she's black. And I will forever look at her as a black woman, even though she's blonde hair, blue eyes. You understand what I'm saying? And what's interesting enough, Louisiana is not the only place that's like that.
Oh no, the South.
In Haiti.
Yeah. Oh okay.
In Haiti.
We're going abroad. Okay.
You could be Indian, white, black, or whatever. In Haitian Constitution, you are black. If you want to take the citizenship of Haitians, you have to consider yourself black in order to be Haitian.
It's part of the national identity.
It's the national identity. So it's because we got a very rich history where most Haitians will tell you we're too rich to be considered poor, okay? Because when Napoleon, the greatest conqueror of the world has ever known, could not conquer an African island, okay? He used to write to our leader, our president, Toussaint Louverture, and say, and would sign his letters from the great white man. So Toussaint would write to him, to the great white man, from the great black man. You understand what I'm saying? And that was such audacity that Napoleon had such a hatred, because how dare he sign a letter that way? Because blackness was not considered human, was not considered anything of value, was not considered anything. And that's why till this day you'll find Haitians that are very proud of being black and embrace their black history because their museums, their statues are all onyx, black marble, and everything. But if you cross the border and you go to the Dominican side, all their monuments and everything is ivory, white, wannabe Spaniards. But Spain was conquered for 800 years by the Moors.
Yeah.
So
And the Moors
are
they say in
African.
history book are African descent.
It's
Black.
African.
But they
You know?
say that they were Arabic, but there's
There were
depictions of them
black
being black.
Arabics. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback off of that because, like I said, as an outsider coming to Haiti, like that was one of the best trips I ever took in my life. Like I was so happy I was able to make that trip and actually see Haiti for what. Because people see Haiti as, oh, they just live in tree huts and they live in this.
And
they live in houses
Well,
with no roofs.
they're saying that of
and
all of Latin
this
America.
is-
All Latin America.
But they,
All
like
of
this is like, no, I got to see the beauty of it. Like yeah, I looked in the streets and I was this and that, and I looked in the mountains, and it's just, I got so much videos and pictures of the countryside and the city, and I was like, yo, this is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. I'm in a third world country. They say it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. What?
I want to touch.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something because I saw a photo shoot. Shout out to photo shoot. Start following. He's a Kappa.
1911.
He used the word fair skin as well, and now you're using the word third world country, right? The term third world. That means there's a first world, there's a second world, and I really just want to call attention to the words that we use oftentimes, right? What are we saying about certain types of people, right? When we use certain types of words. So if someone's in a first world, that's a different reality. So now you're in a third world. So if you're not of this world, that makes you an alien.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you're not? If you're an alien, that means you're not human.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you do to something that is not a human? You can take their humanity. You can
It's
kill
really
them,
broken though.
right? So I just kind of want to call attention to that because that I think is a very real thing. So Instagram kicks us off after 1 hour, so that I end it and then I restart it. So I'm gonna end it real quick and then I'm gonna restart it. Make sure to tune in because we're gonna get into the N-word, how we use the N-word in the Latino cultures, Latino communities, because there's a lot of controversy around that. We're gonna talk about that. What else do you want to talk about? We're gonna talk about sexism, right?
Oh, I just want one thing before we get off.
Go ahead. Go.
Because
You
I gotta
got
leave
30
soon
seconds.
anyway. Alright. I just hate how with like Latino women and black women, how they say, oh, black women, oh, if you have an attitude, you angry. But Latino women, oh, that's sexy. Like, who decides that? Because it's black Dominicans, black Puerto Ricans, and black Panamanians,
Mexicans
and black Mexicans. Like, who
There's like
decides
everything,
that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that just like aggravates me because I see that like what black women can't have a bad day in bed, but like mental illness affects everybody. Like you know what I'm saying? Like mental breakdowns and all that affect everybody. So who's to say? Oh, she's just an angry black woman. Oh, but that like that Dominican chick, she's sexy as hell, bro. Like she's an angry, fiery girl. Like
Yeah, that
who
happens,
decides that? Who says okay? It's okay for her to say that, but it's not okay for her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Real quick,
and
yeah.
that's me because I gotta leave soon.
Yeah.
I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. I got other
It's
things.
Ani, the Delta. It's her birthday. So
happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
None
What's
of
your
this. We did.
I got some
All right,
girls.
cool. All right, so we're gonna end it and restart it. All right.
I'll see y'all another time. P Macho, that's me.
Oh yeah.
Macho.
We also got to touch the topic of how do you describe yourself
I
as a
was-
Latina